This is a leaked recording from a patient inside the now abandoned Serene Meadows Asylum. They promised him a cure. Instead, they stole his identity and replaced it with a dead man's life. Stop. What you are about to hear should not exist. This is the secret they tried to bury. What you do with this information is up to you. But be warned, once you listen, you become part of the secret. You cannot unhear it. The first thing I remember is the color. A blinding, sterile white. It coated everything. The walls, the ceiling, the impossibly stiff sheets tucked so tightly around me. It wasn't a comforting white. It was the color of nothing. The color of a memory. Wiped. Clean. A soft, rhythmic beeping. That was the only sound. I tried to sit up, but a dull throb, a heavy throb, anchored my head to the pillow. A woman in a crisp, white uniform leaned into my view. Her smile, a little too bright, a little too practiced. "Welcome back, Mr. Gable," she chirped. "You gave us quite a scare." Gable? The name felt wrong. A coat that didn't fit. I tried to ask, "Where am I? What happened?" But my tongue was a lead weight in my mouth. She seemed to read my mind. "You're at Serene Meadows Asylum. You had an episode. But don't you worry. We're going to take very, very good care of you." Her words were meant to be soothing, but they sent a chill down my spine. An asylum. The word itself. A C-A-G-E. I didn't feel sick. I felt stolen. As she left the room, the heavy click of the lock echoed the question pounding in my skull. This isn't my life. So whose is it? They called it the adjustment period. Days blurred, a cocktail of tasteless food, condescending therapy sessions, and pills. Pills that left a metallic FOG in my mind. They told me I was Elias Gable, a writer who had suffered a severe psychotic break. They showed me documents, a driver's license with my face, but not my eyes. I played along, a wolf in sheep's clothing, because I learned quickly, that resistance was met with higher doses and softer, more padded walls. The nights were the worst. That's when the whispers started. They weren't in my head. No, they were in the vents, faint, desperate. A man's voice, frantic. Don't let them forget. Chamber 4, the Echo Project. I'd press my ear against the cold, cold metal, my heart hammering against my ribs, trying to piece it together. Dr. Finch, my therapist, he dismissed it. "Auditory hallucinations, Elias," he'd say with a dismissive wave. A classic symptom. Your mind is creating patterns where there are none. But I knew what I heard. It wasn't a symptom. It was a message. And it was coming from someone else. Trapped in this pristine hell. Her name was Maya, a small, silent girl. She just sat in the corner of the common room, clutching a single R.E.D. crayon. She never spoke, but her eyes saw everything. The other patients avoided her. They'd mutter, "A lost cause." But I was drawn to her silence. One afternoon, as a storm raged outside, I sat near her. She didn't look up, but her tiny hand began to move, furiously, across a piece of paper. When she was done, she slid it towards me. It was a drawing. Crude, childlike. A man in a doctor's coat, but instead of a face, he had a swirling vortex. And from that vortex, a hand was reaching out, pulling a stick figure from another stick figure's head. I felt a jolt, A flash, a memory so quick I couldn't grasp it. A needle, a bright light, a feeling of being hollowed out. Maya looked at me then, for the very first time. She pointed to the faceless doctor in her drawing, then pointed down the hall, towards Dr. Finch's office. A single tear rolled down her cheek. She wasn't drawing a fantasy. She was drawing a warning. Maya's drawing became my obsession. M.Y. Rosetta, Stone, the Echo Project, Chamber 4, a faceless doctor. It was a puzzle, and I was running out of time. I knew they watched me, their smiles never reaching their eyes. I had to move, unseen. My chance came in the form of old Arthur, the night janitor, a creature of habit. Always his smoke break at 2:15 a.m., leaving his utility cart, unattended, in the West Wing. For 3 nights I watched. I feigned sleep. I watched the clock. On the 4th night, I moved. The silence in the asylum at night is a living thing. It listens. It judges. Every footstep was a cannon blast. I reached the cart, my hands trembling, shaking. His keyring was there, a dozen keys jangling softly. One was different, older, made of brass, and stamped into it, the number, 4, Chamber 4. My heart stopped. This was it. I took the key, my fingers closing around the cold, cold metal. I didn't just steal a key. I stole a chance to find the Whispering Man. A chance to uncover what the Echo Project truly was. The key felt heavy in my pocket. A guilty weight. The older, abandoned section. The historical wing. That was my target. I found the door at the end of a long, dark corridor. Dust motes dancing in the moonlight. The plaque was tarnished, but I could see the words. Observation Chamber 4. The brass key slid into the lock. A sickening crunch. The door opened into darkness, and the smell of ozone and decay. I used a stolen flashlight, its beam cutting through the black. I saw it. It wasn't a patient room, it was a laboratory. In the center stood a terrifying metal chair, covered in straps. Wires. A web of wires connected to a machine from a science fiction nightmare. And on a dusty console, I found it. A logbook. The last entry. Dated just 2 weeks ago. The title of the project made my blood run cold. Project Echo. Memory, extraction, and implantation. They weren't healing minds here. Oh God, no. They were rewriting them. My hand shook as I flipped through the logbook. Dr. Finch's handwriting. Chilling. Detached. He wrote about harvesting memories, implanting a fabricated past. He called it the ultimate therapy. Erasing the person to cure the illness. He thought he was a pioneer. I felt sick, so sick. Then, I found them. The most recent entries. Subject A, Daniel, a war veteran, severe PTSD. Subject B, Elias Gable, a writer, grief-induced breakdown. The log detailed how Finch had extracted Daniel's combat trauma and was implanting Gable's life into his now empty consciousness. He wrote about the side effects, confusion, fragmented memories, auditory hallucinations, where the original personality, the Echo, tries to break through. The whispers from the vent. It was Daniel. It was me? Number 1. I am not Elias Gable. My name is Daniel, and the life they gave me is a lie. Daniel. The name hit me like a physical blow, and with it, a flood of images, the desert sun, the sound of a helicopter, the face of a friend I lost. The guilt, oh God, the guilt. They hadn't erased it. They had just buried it under a stranger's life. Elias Gable wasn't real. It was a story, a cage for my mind. I was Subject A, the man whose memories they stole. But Subject B? Where was the real Elias Gable? I frantically searched the logbook. The final entry was short. Implantation failed. Subject B expired. Body moved to cold storage. Expired. He was dead. The man whose life I was wearing was dead. And I was the evidence Dr. Finch needed to bury. The whispers from the vent. It wasn't a message for me. It was me. My own fractured mind. My own echo. Trying to warn myself. Panic gave way to a cold, hard rage. I couldn't escape. Not alone. They'd catch me, drug me. And this time they would erase everything. I didn't need a key. I needed an army. I went back to the common room, the logbook hidden under my shirt. I found Maya. I opened the book to the patient list, to the names, the real names of the people Finch had experimented on. I pointed to a name, Lillian, and then to an elderly woman who stared at a blank wall all day. Every day. I handed Maya the red crayon. She understood. Instantly. She went to the woman, Lillian, and began to draw. A field of sunflowers. Lillian's head snapped up, her vacant eyes suddenly focused. My garden, she whispered, a tear tracing a path down her wrinkled cheek. It was a spark, a single, beautiful spark in the endless darkness. We spent the rest of the day going from patient to patient, Maya drawing fragments of their stolen lives, me whispering their real names. We were waking them up. We were reminding them who they were. Our chance was the annual Donors Gala, a disgusting, self-congratulatory event, where Dr. Finch paraded his success stories in front of wealthy benefactors. As he took the stage, ready to deliver his speech, our symphony began. It started with Lillian, humming a lullaby. Then, another patient, tapping out a rhythm on his dinner plate. Soon, the room was filled with the ghosts of their past lives. A chef shouting recipes, a teacher reciting poetry, a carpenter describing the grain of wood. It was chaos. It was beautiful. In the confusion, I stormed the stage. I grabbed the microphone. I held up the logbook. "This is not a hospital!" I screamed, my voice raw. "It's a tomb! Dr. Finch is not a healer! He is a thief! He stole our lives! He stole our souls!" For the first time, I saw genuine fear in Finch's eyes. The benefactors looked horrified. The staff was in disarray, and Maya stood at the back of the room, holding up a new drawing. A flock of birds, flying free from a broken cage. The aftermath was a whirlwind. Police, investigations, screaming headlines. Serene Meadows Asylum was shut down, its secrets laid bare. Dr. Finch arrested. His God complex shattered into a million pieces. They say some of the patients will recover. Others are too lost. Their true selves just faint echoes in a stranger's mind. And me? I'm free, but I'm also a ghost. I have Daniel's trauma and Elias's memories, all swirling together, a mosaic of two broken men. Sometimes, I still hear the whispers, not in the vents. No, in my own quiet moments, a reminder of the man I was and the man I was forced to be. They gave me a choice, to try and reclaim Daniel's painful past, or live with the fiction of Elias Gable. I don't know who I am yet, not really, but I know one thing, for sure. I am the echo, and I will not be silenced. My name is Daniel, and I remember everything.